Namaskaram. Welcome to my channel, VPK Nutrition, Mind Body Healing with Pushpa. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the seventh limb of yoga, dhyana, which is loosely translated as meditation in the modern world, but it is much more than that. Stay tuned to find out how. Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about dhyana, the seventh limb of yoga. Again, in the modern world, dhyana is translated as meditation. But really speaking, it is not equal to each other, but meditation is sort of a stepping stone, you can say, to get to the state of dhyana. So that is what I'll be talking about today and explaining how that works. Now, last week we covered dharana, which I hope you would go and watch that, because that's more about single pointed focus. And a lot of times that is what most people think of as meditation. So in the difference between the two is dharana, you're actually trying to subdue all of the thought waves and kind of focus your mind on one thought. So it could be a breath, it could be an idol, it could be some kind of object or ishtadevata or a mantra. But again, in dhyana, there is no such thing, because in dharana, we're still using your mind for all of these activities. But those are all important in order to purify the mind. Whereas in dhyana, even the mind and the body and time and space are not relevant. You actually go beyond all of this and you kind of transcend all of these things to get to a state where you feel completely in tune with the observer as a witness. So this is stated, the dhyana definition is stated in the Yoga Sutras, chapter 3, verse 2, and I'm going to chant that now. Tatra pratyayaikata dhyanam. So the meaning of that is a continuous flow of attention towards an object is dhyanam. So what this has been compared to is the pouring of oil from a bottle. It has a continuous flow. So this is the kind of attention we have to maintain on the object. Now, when we talk about object, again, in dhyanam, the object is the Brahman or the pure self within. It is not any external object. So, this is something, if you practically want to understand what that feels like, Swami, the yogi, Sachidananda, he talks about this in his book and says that, suppose you've been sitting in meditation for, let's say, 1 hour, right? And meditating upon this Brahman in your heart, and somebody wakes you up and you feel like you've just been there about 5 minutes. So you've really lost track of the time, you've lost track of space, you've lost track of your body and mind and everything, and you've just been completely absorbed in that meditation. That is the real dhyanam that we are talking about, the yogis were doing for hours and hours and hours. So this is the spiritual component of yoga, and that is what dhyanam really is. However, we've already covered all of the other 6 limbs, and those are essential to even come to this stage. So this is not something, meditation, that you practice, but it is something that you arrive at after you have practiced everything else. So in today's modern world, a lot of the studies show the benefits of meditation, and usually they're referring to the body-mind complex and how it helps us to relax our bodies and calm our mind, and also to reduce stress, which is a major issue we all face today. So again, there are a lot of meditation techniques out there, and many of them are so useful to help with the body as well as the mind. And remember, if the body and the mind are not cleaned and purified and healthy, it is really, really difficult to get into that state of dhyanam that I'm talking about. So those are some of the practical tips that I'm going to share today. And some of these things I've already shared before, but I'm just going to kind of highlight those things so you are aware of what it is that people talk about when they talk about meditation. Number 1, mindfulness meditation. Now, this is something commonly heard everywhere, and they say you just sit there, close your eyes, and just watch the thought parade. thoughts go by in your mind. Don't try to hold on to anything. Just kind of allow them to come in and let them go. It's like the bubbles that are being generated from from a bubble machine, but then you just kind of watch them and don't engage with them. So that is one kind of meditation. This helps us to understand how our thoughts work, and it also helps us to see what kinds of samskaras we have, or vasanas, or things that we brought from even previous lives, what kind of negative things that are coming out of us, and this will help us to purify our mind. Number 2, guided meditation. Now, this is very popular in the West and also in the East, because guided meditation is basically somebody walks you through certain words and tells you to imagine things. So this could be a simple thing like, you're on the beach and you're relaxing your body and you're enjoying the sunlight and things like that. Or it could be, emotional things like bringing peace to your mind and things like that, or controlling anger, which is like a yoga nidra, setting an intention and trying to work with that. So there are so many different types of guided meditation. Now, this is a very good technique for somebody with a Shipta mind. Again, I've talked about states of mind, where I talked about how the mind is like a monkey, keeps going from one thought to the other. And a lot of times when people have very low attention span, or even children and adolescents, or even adults who do too much work all the time, they have this kind of a mind. Guided meditation would be a good thing, because there somebody is guiding you through, and all you have to do is just kind of watch it and then just kind of relax for that short amount of time. Number 3, compassion meditation. This is a Zen meditation, and I have talked about this several times. This is very important for us to expand our heart and embrace everyone as one with us. So again, this is a very difficult thing, because if you are holding on to grudges, or have problems with somebody, or have a difficult time with somebody, or whatever the case may be, if you are not able to let that go, let the past go, you're constantly holding on to this kind of negative feelings within. It is really hard to keep our mind clean, or to even open our heart and move on to the state of dhyana. And again, I will share a link for the compassion meditation. I've shared this video before, so I will share the link, and you can start to practice that on your own. Number 4, japa, or mantra chanting, or focusing on a Ishta Devata or idol of your choice. Again, this is very helpful for dharana, the previous step, which is single pointed focus. Again, this is very necessary if you have too many thoughts in your mind, to bring the thoughts to one point. So once you're able to do that concentration, then it will be a little easier to focus on the one thought, or the Brahman within. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Just to give you a brief recap, we talked about what dhyana is and what meditation is, and the difference between the two. Then I also gave you 4 different types of meditation that people generally practice in the modern world. Number 1, mindfulness meditation, watching the thoughts and let them go. Very important to release a lot of whatever you're holding on to from the past. Number 2, guided meditation, excellent for kids, adults, and even people who are very anxious and constantly having a lot of thoughts. This will help them relax their body and mind. Number 3, compassion meditation, a person who's very knowledgeable, a type A personality, but they need to open their heart and embrace everyone, let go of any hurts or problems with people. Very important to do compassion meditation. Again, number 4 is dharana, or single pointed focus, either on a japa, mantra, chant, Ishta Devata, deity of your choice, etc. So again, these 4 techniques are still very good to practice to purify the body and mind, calming and relaxation, and also stress relief. Now again, once all of these things are done, then you will easily get into dhyana. So dhyana is the state that you need to get into. So what is dhyana? And now this, I'm going to chant a sloka by Adi Shankaracharya, and he explains what you are meditating on, and that goes like this. Pratasmarami kriti samspuradatma tattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptamavaiti nityam Tat brahma nishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangaha. the meaning of the sloka that I chanted is I early in the morning meditate upon. So pratas smarami, on that infinite Brahman who is seated in my very home. Hriddhi samspurad atma tattva, in my own heart, who is beyond the three states, waking state, dream state and deep sleep, and who is the belongs to the fourth state of consciousness, Turiya, which is the goal of all the Paramahamsas, or the yogis of the ancient times. And we are not, this Brahman is not a finite entity as of the five elements which make up our body and mind as well. So we need to connect with that eternal Brahman within, the divinity within us, with love and reverence. And once you make that connection, you realize the infinite amount of bliss that we are capable of having in our own lives. Again, this is a very difficult state to get into. Again, even the yogis took years and years of meditation or dhyana to get there. So naturally, this is something going to be hard for us. But again, all the other steps I talked about, those are some things to start practicing. Again, always remember to be in touch with that divinity within us, even when we are working in the world. As long as we keep that, our ego remains lower, we keep humble and just keep doing the things as instrument of this Brahman within, and we are part of that infinite self, then we are going to feel more balanced, and also we don't have to worry about the mind and body ailments and all of that stuff, because that itself is going to give us everything that we need to live healthy. So see you all next week. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like it, subscribe, and share this video with others who might be benefited. Have a wonderful week ahead, and see you next week.